Hey, Tom here, Flip Anything USA. I wanted to talk a little bit about Jerome Powell's interest rate decision. Look, so many people have been out there saying the rates are going down in 2024. I've been telling everybody since 2022 that the Fed rate is going to continue to climb, and it's not going to go down at all in 2024. And I'm glad to see Jerome Powell holding steady on it. It's a necessary correction. The rates, they should have raised them earlier. And, not that it really matters. There'd be suffering either way. No matter what, there'd be suffering either way. And I was actually watching just a tiny piece of Mike Zuber from One Rental at a Time, which we did a video together here not too long ago. And he was optimistic, as I remember then, that the rates would be cutting down. I told him I disagreed then, that I didn't think they were coming down. And he had put out a video today talking about like it was an opportunity missed, which, I totally respectfully disagree. I think it's really good. And I didn't watch the whole video, in fairness. I just watched the beginning of it. But I've seen where a couple people were commenting on, being dovish, and he should be. He should be sensitive to getting that CPI down. It is you got to get inflation down. It's a killer. It's a killer either way. And what I'd seen Mike, actually, let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can, Mike Zuber. Let me see here. One Rental, right? And I like Mike, don't get me wrong. I would respectfully disagree. Yeah, it was just today. I don't even know how I got to him. Let's see. I'll just do Zuber. Which, if you're not aware of Michael Zuber, you'll be aware of him in a second. So, I was born in the 60s, and I can tell you we haven't had this kind of inflation since the 70s, and I was a kid during that time. So I suffered it as a kid. As a kid, I suffered it. I watched my family, a lot of unemployment, powdered milk and welfare and free lunch in school and all the things that go along with tough times. So 16, anyway. Let's go here. There we go. Let's see. Anyways, so what do you guys think that are watching? Like I say, Big Wealth one. Let me see. This is just something he just did today. Let me find Michael real quick here. And see his latest video. Fed mistake. Here we go. Yeah, let's watch this.
We just had Fed Day. As you know, I was hoping that the Fed would take the opportunity to really tell the market that they are in control. What happened? What did they do? And more importantly, perhaps most importantly, what did they not do? We will go through the complete laundry list. We will revisit inflation through the decades. Shout out Resi Club for that. We will give you some earnings, and we will once again talk about a rolling recession. Folks, a lot of stuff going on, but today is all about the Fed. Did they make a mistake? Should they have done something different? What are they really doing in the market?
So we'll come back and watch a little bit of this, and like I said, that's about as much as I watched right there, but we're going to come back and watch a little bit of this.
It's the best thing I ever did.
A long day here, let me tell you. So first of all, nobody fret about this. This guy holding standard. I mean, I wouldn't doubt if they raised the rates more. Seriously, listen. In 1981, my first property that I ever bought, the rates, if I went to the bank, it would have been 12-13% to get a loan. I got an owner carry deal at 10%. That was the first property I bought, and that was in 1981. And entirely through the 80s, I bought property at 10% interest. In fact, this is my first $1 million right here. These are all deals done from 1981 to 1990. And it doesn't matter if the interest rate's high or low. You can still make plenty of money. I made my first million, and that was, be like making 3 million now in a relatively short time. Yeah, Clint, I don't know about the notifications. Clint just got in the class, by the way. Welcome, Clint, and congrats. He's already got a property. Only been in the class a month or two, and he's already nailed a pretty good deal. But so again, on this, let's watch a little bit of this here, and I'll just tell you where we disagree. But right now, listen. Let's watch.
And most importantly to me, and perhaps the middle class, what did they not do? All right, so the Fed meeting, obviously we talk about three things. Number one, no rate hike. We knew that. That was a nothing burger. Number two, the announcement, the press release, really nothing interesting.
I wouldn't have been surprised if if they did have a rate hike, to be quite honest. I mean, because he hasn't gotten it down to the 2 that he's looking for. And believe me, 2 is a great place to be.
Then they have documented how much they are going to reduce QT, quantitative tightening. Folks, for the last, 15, 18 months, the Fed has allowed debt to mature, and they've been sucking liquidity out of the system to the tune of $90 billion a month. Coming in June, that will be greatly reduced. There was a lot of expectation that they would go from 60 billion of treasuries to 30. The Fed went an extra 5 billion. They are now only going to be allowing 25 billion to roll off. What does all of that mean? It means there will be more liquidity in the system, and it means that rates will come in. And you saw rates move quite significantly by the end of the day. I don't know if you checked out mortgages, but mortgages went down 10 basis points.
So I can tell you there's some flexibility for the interest rates to change within the banks themselves too. So I like a competitive marketplace in general for money and everything else. And look at I thought I heard him catch him when I watched a little bit of him earlier, and maybe I've already passed it just where I started here, but like it was a benefit to the rich, this situation. Not so. Tell Ben Malla this has been a benefit to him. He's paying another $6-7 million a year in interest rates last time I checked. And he's sold a lot of properties. In fact, actually, Ben Malla is actually another good one to talk about here because, and I like this, and I'm going to jump around here just a little bit. And this is going to be a short video. We can come back and elaborate some more later. But let me pull up Ben Malla here because we'll go to YouTube again. Again, I tell people the most important economy you got to worry about is the one that's around you, not internationally. Maybe if you're an international investor, you'd be more concerned about things. But I'm always more concerned about just my little sector, right? Now, of course, I'm affected by interest rates and that sort of thing too. But I've been telling everybody, refinance your properties, get them, lock them down, get fixed. When you negotiate a loan, by the way, a lot of people don't realize this. When you negotiate a loan, you can put a cap on how much they raise your rates. In other words, they don't have to, people have a 5-year loan and then they cut it and then, they go back up. Ben actually is suffering some of this too. But, you can, when you originally make that deal, you can say, hey, look, we'll readjust the rates, but if the rates go up, you're not going to raise me more than 1%. You can arrange those. Some people get them, locked in for, think 15, 20 years. I've had some long-term commercial rates locked down too. And you can do that, but you got to do it on, you got to do that when you're shopping, when you're pitting them against each other. So everybody out there, you understand that banks are no different than any store out there selling clothes or anything else. They want your business. They need your business. If you're a good risk, then they want your business, right? And so it's very important. But what I was going to say about Ben is, since he kind of blew it, and I think I did a video called Ben Blew It about not refining, and I tell people there's not that many people that have been actively trading in real estate as long as I have and starting as young as I have. That's like 43 years for me now. But I started at 19 years old. And So I've seen high rates. I've seen rates coming down from 16% for real estate. All my mortgages were 10% all through the 90s, except one I got for 9.25%, 9.125%. Except it's only because I put 160 grand in the bank that I got the deal that I got back then. And being young didn't help either. But the thing is look, it's just math. Just remember this. It's just math. I used to buy properties at a 10% interest rate, and they penciled. I could still put 10% down or 20% down, and I would always negotiate a good deal. I'd always buy a little under market, and everybody should. And the result would be I still had a positive income, cash flow, and I was paying out the nose for the money. I was paying out the nose, and that's okay as long as it pencils. You can do it. You just have to apply that. In fact, I'm actually looking for property right now, and so I've been in LoopNet, and let's just, I'm not going to go here. We'll go somewhere that I'm not shopping in because I don't like to give away my honey hole, which I don't really have one at the moment. But several of my students, one just told me he got a $2 million property today for $970,000 or $2.2 million property. But on this subject, and like I say, I'm going to jump around just a little bit here. But to Ben, number one, let's go back to Ben for a second. What have you seen Ben do? And this is one of the reasons I love being a commercial real estate investor, meaning I have lots of commercial clientele, retail, I have a lot of industrial tenants and everything else. They're entrepreneurs. They're all entrepreneurs. If whatever they're selling is going out of style, they're going to pick up a new line of product, or they're going to build something new. They're going to invent something different, and they're going to run on. They're survivors, right? Well, Ben demonstrated that that's exactly what he is, because what Ben has done is I've seen he got killed on these rates, and he messed up. He did. He should have refied this stuff. But what do you see him doing? He's sold off a bunch of properties. I think he's through some stuff on some 1031 exchange deal. He was selling off properties. He had to make some tough decisions. It's very difficult, very, very difficult when you're selling a property that you have no basis. Your basis is so far reduced that you're just going to pay out the nose if you don't, if you're not able to roll it into something else, which is difficult to do if you're, in some cases. You're going to have to liquidate some of it and eat some of it. But my point being on this is, what Ben has also done is, said, hey, we got to make some money here. He got rid of cars. He got rid of some junk, and he got rid of some junk properties or properties that he preferred to. Some that he bought recently over there along Bel Air Beach, he put up for sale too. And so, but these are the necessary changes. This is what I love about entrepreneurs, is that they don't throw good money after bad. They quickly understand they got to make the changes they make. So he sold off property, sold off consumable items, cars and crap like that, and then at the same time he started getting monetizing his channel. Right, he started doing a lot of sponsorships. In fact, it's like there's a commercial or two in every one of them now that he didn't used to do. But that's what happens. You get complacent when the money's easy and you got a lot of it, and when it starts to tighten, you start to advertise, you start monetizing anything and everything you can. You squeeze every cent out of the properties that you have, and I talk a lot about that in my own, in the mentorship that I teach. But so, anyways, I just want to mention that about Ben. So we'll go back to Michael here a little bit, and I got somebody coming, so I only can talk a little bit. But let's hear a little more.
0.1, not 0.01. They went down to 0.1.
So a lot of people like to get caught up in the data, and look, I respect people that if that's what they do and it works for them, that's fine. I don't get so caught up in the data. I look and can see, when you've been doing things long enough, you'll kind of get a sixth sense, or I tell people, when you feel that, when you've got when you just, something doesn't feel right, that's your subconscious pulling from all your years of experience, telling you, wait a minute, don't do that. And it's crunching data that you really don't even realize you're doing, I believe. But anyways, I don't think it was a mistake, is the gist of this, and I hear somebody coming now. But the bottom line is, I don't think it was a mistake, and I hope that he holds steady on this and gets these all the way down to 2. Yeah, it's going to be devastating. You're going to see, and also, those of you that are out there bidding on stuff, like me, listen, you doing if you're doing your numbers right, you're looking at the stuff that you're bidding on, you know that you can't make sense of a lot of stuff you see. In other words, who's going to buy something with a 5 cap or a 6 cap or a 7 cap? A 7 cap, there's room there. Depends on what you're looking at. Maybe you got some room. You can see some stuff in the future that you can do. You can maybe monetize the properties in ways that other people haven't. But the thing is this, him holding steady is going to make the guys that didn't plan and make the people that didn't do. And listen, as far as he was talking about the middle class getting screwed, this could be the biggest opportunity in the world for the middle class. And so I'll argue with Michael on that some other time. If you want, Mike, we can do another video. But the reason I say is the property values are going down, right? The property values go down. Listen, everybody's not how much, they're how much a month. So it's a terrible way to do business, but that's how people are in this country. They have to be because they're living paycheck to paycheck. And so middle class lives paycheck to paycheck. That's how it is. So what this opportunity brings is like even the tax assessor, who's the hardest person ever to get them to actually lower the values of properties because they're taxing us on it, right? But they're even lowering the rates. They're lowering their valuations, and so it's definitely values are going down. It doesn't mean the payment is changing. The payment is going to be the same, but it's going to cost less. The values are going to keep going down, and so those of my fellow investors out there, please be very, very hard on the properties that you want to look at, the ones that you want to buy. Listen, you got to snap the sellers into reality. And, hit them hard, push for an 8 cap on anything that you buy. I mean, the bank is charging about 8% right now on commercial loans. I can get a 7.5. This is the last one I got. And listen, I've had rates as low as, like 3 3/4, 4%, in the last 5 years. But right now, not so much. I'm looking at the best rate I just got quoted was 7.5%. And that was with a 3-year call and a 0.5 point. Now, we could maybe negotiate a little bit better than that. But nevertheless, again, why am I going to throw money at a property that has a 5 cap or a 5.5 or a 6 cap? I mean, 6 cap, that's so 2020, okay? We're not 2020 anymore. You got to be looking for an 8 or 9 cap. Hey, Russ. Hey, how you doing, Russ? So I'm talking about the Fed rate, and Russ will tell you, Russ is in the class. And Russ, what have I been telling people about the Fed rate, right? It said I'm not going to see it go down in 2024, and it might even go up. So I think you can confirm that right here. But anyways, I would like to just tell everybody out there, Russ and Russ I don't have to worry about, I already know. My fellow investors, anybody in my class knows, demand a big delta on the stuff that you're buying. You can't buy like it's 2020. It's not 2020 anymore. The interest rates are higher than hell, and you have to take it out of the price. You got to beat the price down. So, anyways, that's it. I'll come back. Maybe Mike, we can do another video here sometime soon. I enjoyed the last one we did, but we probably have some differences on this subject, which is good. Hey, Chris also in the class. Chris has already killed it. He's done 2 deals, made $145,000 so far this year on 2 deals. Appreciate you sharing that with us, Chris. PGM wrote, had to make a scene when prices are still going up. Yeah, if you guys just come in, Chris or Russ and Chris, I was just talking about, what I love about my commercial tenants and my industrial tenants is their resiliency. In other words, they change it up. And I think, Ben, although he blew it badly by not refining his properties that he had, cost him $7 million a year in interest that he didn't have, the year or 2 prior. But now what he's got is, what he's shown is that, come on in, Mark. I got my buddy Mark coming in here too, is the resiliency of the entrepreneurs is they change it up. And Ben has been monetizing his channel like crazy. He's got sponsors and stuff. He's making money to make up for, the money that isn't coming in anymore. And he's made some hard decisions. He's put some properties up for sale. Some that he bought recently, he put up for sale. So again, that's the beauty of commercial industrial rentals is that you just got people that will never get a W-2 again if they can help it. And so I'll leave it here. Thanks for watching. Hey, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll come back and do some more. And again, Michael, we can mix it up again if you want to sometime. We'll see y'all later.